In this video, we're going to explore the various features of FProCalc using the example of a grapple skidder operating on two different harvest sites that are the exact same but with different skid distances. FProCalc is a tool that allows users to compare different machines or different harvesting systems to different sites that they've created themselves. The sites are defined by the stand type, the cut type, terrain conditions, as well as extraction distance, and the user can define individual machines or predetermined harvesting systems that they themselves create. For the purpose of this tutorial, we're only going to be looking at one machine, but in a future video, we're going to look at harvesting systems as a whole. The first step is always to define your site. To do this, we'll go to the Manage dropdown and go to My Sites. From here, we have our default site, which I've already renamed, but it can be named however you choose, and it can be adjusted based on cut type, forest type, a volume per stem, or average extraction distance, as well as a CPPA classification. If you're unsure about cut type or CPPA classification and how specifically to classify it, you can click on any of these green marker icons and it'll pop up with prompts on how to properly define these sites. So we're going to save this site. And now what we can do is we can duplicate our site to have the two sites we want to compare. To do this, we're basically just going to double the extraction distance to 300 and we're going to leave everything else the same. We'll rename it to White Lake Long so that we know which one it is. And we'll save it. Now that we've created our sites, we're going to have to add a machine to the system. This can be done by either clicking on the Add Machine button on the left-hand side or going through the My Equipment Fleet tab. This tab is where the various machines and systems that you've previously saved will automatically show up on each login. The data is saved on our server, so if you ever choose to log in from somewhere else, it'll automatically show up for you. Here we're going to add a machine. We'll choose a grapple skidder, although all these different machines are available. We'll add a unique identifier. And in the next screen, we can adjust the various inputs that are used to calculate the hourly cost, as well as the unit cost and productivity. For example, if your purchase price is different from the $385,000 default which we provided, this can be adjusted by clicking on Purchase Price and changing the base purchase price, as well as adding various options. But for the purpose of this experiment, we'll leave it the same. The same thing applies for scheduled usage. If, for example, you have a higher or lower scheduled usage per year, this can be adjusted and it will reflect in the hourly and unit cost of the machine. Other variables that can be considered are things like interest rate, fuel, and operator cost. We've decided to define these things as global parameters because they'll usually apply to multiple machines all at the same time. To make it easy, we've got a Global Parameters tab on the left-hand side where you can adjust these three variables and then later apply them to all your different machines as these things change using the My Equipment Fleet tab. For now, we're just going to leave everything the same way by default and save the changes. Here we're brought back to the My Equipment Fleet tab. Since we only have one grapple skidder created, that's all that's showing up, but if you had multiple machines, this is where they'd all be stored. Our next step is to compare this one grapple skidder across the two different sites that we previously created. To do this, we're going to use the Compare tool on the left-hand side. Here you can choose between comparing machines and comparing harvesting systems, as well as comparing many machines on one site or one machine on many sites. Since we have one machine and many sites, we're going to choose this option. We're going to choose our machine, which is John Doe, and then choose the two different sites verified by little check marks and hit Go. Here we see the output summary file with the two different harvest sites down below, as well as the various assumptions that we've previously saved for this specific machine. As you can see, the purchase price and all the other variables remain the same between the two comparisons, but yet the unit cost and hourly cost remain different. This is a function of the fact that we're comparing two different sites, one with a skid distance of 150 meters and the other with a skid distance of 300. The output file is designed in a way that it should be easy to save and select and copy into Excel, or alternatively you can export it directly as a PDF by clicking the Download in PDF button. Instead of choosing to export, we're just going to cancel and work our way back to the main tab. Although the main comparison for this video tutorial is done, we'd also like to point out a couple of the other tabs on the left-hand side. The Frequently Asked Questions tab has a lot of questions and answers that most users will find very useful. The About tab contains the terms of service that you've previously agreed to should you ever choose to consult them again, as well as the Home tab, which has our contact info at the bottom should you ever choose to get in contact with us. If you find yourself in a situation with a more complex system, please consider using the FPInterface software. A link is provided here. If you find any bugs or have any issues or concerns that you'd like to have addressed in a future video or by email, please don't hesitate to send us an email to let us know. I hope you enjoyed the video and stay tuned for more.